Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I know I am. Out here in EU in the morning, there is finally no lag, so we can once again come out of the woods and play a little bit of Ascension. Today's video is about one of my personal favorite builds. You know I love Fizz builds. I started off with warrior builds. I think in Classic, warrior builds are just super fun, and also the things they did here in Ascension with them is really enjoyable. Like the rotation is engaging, you have to focus on many things, and also so rewarding when you pull it off because you're pumping some nutter numbers. This is 2-minute fight, 2-minute 20 fight in AoE. You can see here the breakdown, and we have here a surprise which we're going to get into right now. You know the drill, we're going to go through every single important ability and talent and let you guys know how they work together. Okay, first one, battle fatigue. Combined with echoing Warcry, you have good uptime on 10% physical damage. So obviously a must. Warcry itself also gives you 20% crit, so that's very nice. And now, in order to get to this kind of uncapped AoE, because Crush is uncapped, we are indeed running heavyweight and prepared to crush on a Titan's Grip build. How does it work? Well, put simply, the interaction with Hateful Strike, which is a very short global cooldown and a very short cooldown, works out so you can proc it quite consistently as you saw in that video. Plus, while you are stuck in Herod's Legacy, while you're stuck in Bladestorm, you are still auto-attacking, and it will also proc it coming out of that. Is it effective? I would say so. It is quite good. It hits up to 36k, and the super nice part about it is obviously the fact that it is uncapped. So in AoE situations, doing a 40k frontal on all the mobs should be very rewarding. Southpaw Strike, very nice. Basically increases offhand weapon damage, which is going to increase the overall damage of Herod's Legacy and Whirlwind and Bladestorm, all of these that use both weapons to swing, and you want to try to keep it up as much as possible. Here I went for Bloodthirst, but we don't have really any other Bloodthirst modifiers. The main bread of the build in AoE is Raging Lunge and Whirlwind, and in single target it's Raging Blow and Whirlwind. Titan's Fury, absolutely clutch for all warrior builds, still super important even after the nerf. When your Titanic Strike consumes all your 500 rage, you have 500 rage from the talent. This one, Overwhelming Rage, and it gives you 15% more damage, I think. Oh, 25% if Titan's Grip is active. Okay, so it was actually a buff for Titan's Grip. Well, for 20 seconds. So, very nice. Gurubashi Berserker decreases the global cooldown of warrior abilities. So, this is what will allow us to proc even more crushes because we want to prevent all white hits. The only way you can get white hits is with the offhand. If your offhand misses, you're basically guaranteed a crush because you're going to be casting at least 4 globals in the time that it takes to have 2 swings, so 3.8 plus 3.8, 7.6 seconds, unmodified by attack speed, so it's going to be a bit less. If your offhand misses, for sure you proc crush. If it doesn't miss, it's a little bit trickier, and this is why you want Gurubashi Berserker to decrease your global cooldown, plus you have Hateful Strikes going in between every single global cooldown, so you're still quite likely to proc it. Tools of War Martial Crescendo together, big damage, absolutely important. Blades of Blood, it's how you apply Rend in AoE, and it's how you get good uptime on Hunger for Blood, because you're constantly applying bleeds, and Hunger for Blood, which gives you 10% damage, lasts longer the more bleeds you have on the target. You could even go, oh, I do have Hydra's Venom on this one. Okay. Getting into the epics, World of Rage procs Blood Rage, and it procs our Enrage talent, which is very big damage. Echoing Warcry, we talked about it. Gurubashi Blood Surge gives you more Raging Blows, which once again is what you want to be focusing on. In AoE, you use Raging Lunge as the Raging Blow, and in single target, you want to use the Raging Blow. Obviously, in AoE, you press your Blade Storms when they're off of cooldown. Crushing Impact, Crushing Charge. When you use Battle Charge or Charge, you do 10% more damage. It's a nice loop, very important. Demolisher increases your physical damage dealt to the target, so it's good for single target, but also, and I'm still hunting for that talent, if you get ready to demolish plus expose armor, you can have Every 20 seconds, basically, just have to press a button and you get 35% armor pen, which is absolutely nutty. I have it on my other version. This is the Rockbiter version, and we're also going to be discussing a Windfury version for a little bit more single target. And it's nice, yeah, it's for sure worth it. Moving on. Raging Onslaught, more Raging Blow charges, self-explanatory. Outrage 5% more damage. In for the kill. This is what allows us to trigger to refresh Rend in single target and also trigger the Taste for Blood capstone, which here you can see the 75% weapon damage, which is kind of nice using a two-handed weapon. It is quite consistent, maybe 5 to 6% of your single target. Draconic Might, 5% more damage. And Stance Dance is obviously doubles the armor penetration bonus of Battle Stance, which is on 7. So it gives you 10% more armor penetration, obviously worth the talent slot. Besides that, we took all the general crit and otherwise talents. They're going to be on the spreadsheet. These are, you can figure it out why I took them. Obviously, you need general modifiers. For the abilities, anything special to mention? Here I went with Storm Strike and Wind Strike because I was trying out Wind Rager stuff. Or we can just write Storm Strike. Storms. Wow, I can't spell in the morning. Excuse me, lads. We were trying out this Raging Winds, Rising Winds, Rampant Tornado. The conclusion, they are all kind of garbo. Definitely not worth. You want to replace these two with Titanic Mutilate, which is what I have on my Windfury version. It still does good damage, and also it gives you more combo points in case you're using your combo points for various situations. For the REs, is just my general warrior REs, except I replaced Hack and Slash with Serrated Blades for a little bit more armor penetration. So Poleaxe spec, hit, 1% physical damage, 2% crit, and Draconic Mortal Strike for 9% crit. I think this kind of covers the setup. Ah, yeah, the last one is gear. You know the drill: general, spell power, strength, gear to scale up weapon damage. Especially because it's Titan's Grip, I feel it's even more worth to scale up the weapon damage. Okay, let's go over a little bit of the single target rotation. I'm gonna go in and walk you through it, but the main principle is you want to keep Enrage up, you want to keep Titan's Fury up, and then you want to Raging Blow as much as possible. When you don't have Raging Blow, you press Whirlwind, and when you don't have Raging Blow or Whirlwind, you press one of your other filler spells. Bloodthirst on cooldown, not on cooldown, sorry, every I think 18 seconds is kind of worth the track. However, I am not at the moment. This only can occur once every 16 seconds. Okay, so Bloodthirst every 16 seconds could be worth it. Let's see how it goes. I'm gonna do one Bloodthirst just to start it off. And on the leftmost side here, you can see my Raging Blow charges. Now we are pretty stacked, so I'm gonna pop all my defense, all my offensives. I'm just literally pressing Raging Blow, chilling. And that's literally the spec. Once you get, you want to try to keep up Tools of War, of course, general warrior abilities. You can achieve that bringing in your Storm Strikes once in a while. When I see it's about to expire, another Storm Strike. I dropped Titan's Fury. I just woke up, lads. And that's kind of the gist of the spec. 40k, given the AoE it does, as you saw earlier, I think is kind of decent. 43k, it will ramp up even more. We're kind of pumping. Okay, now let's discuss the Windfury variant. Was my pet Thunder Armoring? Yes, he was. Good boy, he was not on the offensive. You can see the single target, obviously Raging Blow, number 1. 30k damage is actually really big, and this one hit for 24k. So in certain globals you get like 54k. That is definitely worth the global. Crush is pretty like inexistent in single target, 2%, but the value it brings in AoE is for sure 100% worth it. Let me swap over to the Windfury variant. In the Windfury variant, I did some testing earlier and I was able to pull off around 46k single target but I am curious how its AoE will perform without lag. Here, let me see what I did differently if I can just check for one moment. Oops, talents. It reset everything. Okay, same spells, except here I have Ready to Demolish, which is, as I mentioned, really worth because we're almost at 100% armor pen. And Overheated Strikes as well, which is in AoE really around 6% because you're playing Titan's Grip. I don't know how, it's just really worth it in this spec. And everything else should be the same. Master of Arms here I have for even more single target and even more armor pen. And we're running Execute instead of Bloodthirst. I'm running Execute. I want to play this in Mythic Plus, so improved Execute just brings me up to 100% crit and can murder the Mythic champion uh, when it is like important to die real fast when your group is struggling towards the end. Oh yeah, and we brought in two Windfury talents, Zephyr and Doomwinds. Doomwinds obviously goes with Hurricane Strike. Honestly, it seems to be performing okay given that it does more single target, around 46k, but I am not sure it is generally worth it. It might not be worth the global. You guys feel free to test as well and figure it out. Okay, let's put on our. I need to refix the gear. Did not mean to press that. This goes here. This goes here. Okay, boys, let's see here the single target. We have the cooldowns coming up in a second, so I think we can go. I'm gonna pop CDs. Need a Hurricane Strike. Good. Demolisher. So getting around to 50k, almost. Basically trying to keep up all the buffs that we have, which is Demolisher, Titan's Fury. Need to get Demolisher fast here, now it's been off for so many seconds. So maybe a little bit better than the Windfury, than the Rockbiter variant in single target. Can probably get up to 50k once played properly. Yeah. I'm still fucking up a lot. Pretty decent spec. Let's see the AoE. I'm gonna come back to you boys in 37 seconds when Blade Fury comes back. You can see for single target the breakdown. Windfury first. The uptime on Doomwinds was really shit. If we get this up to 50%, you should bump up Windfury damage by a lot. Right now 15%, should maybe give like 2, 3, 4% more. Crush, very nice. Very good actually in single target, 3% this time. It normally does 1 to 2%, so the lag was keeping us like in check. Execute 28 kit crits, still worth it I think. It gives you the extra crit in execute phase, so it's very nice. Let's check out the AoE. I'm gonna charge in, get all my buffs up, get Demolisher up, and then start the bursting. I think that is the plan. 1 buff, 2 buff. Demolisher up. We didn't consume it yet. Now it's up. This and Herod's Fury. We're building up now, boys. Proc it, do some Raging Lunges to refresh Titan's Fury. And Whirlwind. I'm in Bladestorm. The setup is a little rougher than the previous one, but it still pulls off nice AoE, dude. We fucks with it. Herod's Fury again. Get Demolisher back up. That one was not the button we wanted to press. So we're 1 minute into the fight and still kind of keeping up the damage. We're about to get another Herod's Fury back. Get Demolisher up. Herod's Fury. Herod's Legacy, dude. Look at me, I don't even know the abilities. We dropped Titan's Fury there. That was really not optimal. Sustaining 120k on 6 targets. Each target is getting pumped. I need a combo point for Demolisher back up. Okay. One more Herod's Legacy. And then I guess we'll do one more Blade Fury with Blade Storm. And we'll call it a day. Coming up in 12 seconds. Demolisher back up. Combo points for Titan's Fury. That was not so optimal. Okay, and Blade Storm. Should have actually fancy footworked there before. Yep, there we go, boys. Around 115k sustained. It was 130k burst, not 150k, because we needed a little bit more setup. But it's still nice. Crush is still over there. Windfury actually doing around 8%. I think Rockbiter for sure gives more than 8% in AoE. It's just the Hero's Legacies will hit so much harder, Crush will hit harder. See here, we can actually compare the highest Crush here was 33k, and in the other one the highest Crush was 36k. Maybe because of the armor pen interactions, it actually gets to similar levels. But then the question is, why can't we get the armor pen interaction on the Rockbiter variant and then just Giga Pump? So yeah, I think in the end the only talent I'm gonna be missing is the Demolisher on the Ready to Demolish on Rockbiter. And I think that's gonna be the final variant of the spec. I gotta replace those ugly Storm Strikes with Titanic Mutilate and Execute and get one Execute talent. Or where was it? This one that gives up to 30% crit. And we'll call it a day there, boys. So there you go. These are kind of my thoughts on how to approach Titan's Grip. It is insanely good. The buffs clearly made a difference, and also adding in Crush, which I don't think the devs expected. Maybe they did. I think they balanced it around. It is not that OP. 6% in AoE for like 2 talent slots is kind of meh. But the nice part is the uncapped and also the sustain. So overall, Titan's Grip, huge spec. Hoping you guys enjoyed the video, and stay tuned for more guides coming soon. Have a nice day, boys. Peace.